This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFLTV. It's the start of fight week here in Riyadh. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Ben Davison. How you doing? Harlow final boss.
I like it, I like it.
I'm ready for you come, yeah?
I'm going to need to with this fucking airline keep going back.
That's all right.
I might phone him up, ask him for some tips.
Start of fight week. We just interviewed Moses there. He seems pretty relaxed for this time. He doesn't really like doing interviews, but yeah, he seems pretty relaxed today. It's only Monday.
Yeah, just he's here to do a job. He knows that, well aware of that, and this is just a part of it. So get it ticked off, and we'll be to the gym later on this afternoon, and yeah, back to focusing on the stuff that matters.
When we spoke to Francis Warren and asked him about the process of how this fight happened, etc., he said it was pretty quick from Moses' side. But for yourself, when this was put to you, it being Itauma-Whyte at this stage of his career, what was the thinking process for you? Did it take long for you to kind of say, no, this is actually should be your next fight?
No, he's one of the names on the list that we'd put forward. That he's one of the step-ups that we think is necessary and ideal, and it just so happened that it came about.
But from your thought process of building Moses, we know Itauma-Whyte's kind of at the end, stage-wise end of his career, but you're thinking that step up is the right thing to do for Moses at this point.
Yeah, it's not a case of where he's at in his career. I've said this before, like, Moses isn't the kind of guy that you need to try and catch people at the right time in their career. He's good enough to compete with them at any point in their career, any of them. So it was just a feasible fight, that opportunity come about, and one that we had to take. Itauma-Whyte's a huge name in the sport, been a huge part in my opinion, the best British heavyweight time period there's been. And like I say, he's been a huge part in that, so it's a great scalp for Moses.
Interesting comment there you made about they don't have to be kind of at a particular stage of their career for you guys to consider a fight. But how true is that really? Because Itauma-Whyte is at that stage where people are kind of looking at him.
You guys are, but it's our job not to. We can't prepare looking and banking on Ebenezer Tete Itauma-Whyte to turn up. Well, if we was to do that, we haven't done our job properly. So we're preparing for the best Itauma-Whyte to turn up. He's younger than Usyk. Usyk's just put in one of his best performances, many people are saying. So yeah, we've got to prepare as though it's the best version of Itauma-Whyte coming up. And if it does, I'm still confident that Moses does the type of job that we're confident he can do.
I mean, most people we're speaking to are picking Moses in this fight, but again, from your side, you'd be very kind of naive is probably the right word to dismiss someone like Itauma-Whyte in a fight. Yeah,
of course. Like we've put in a world level preparation for Dillian, as if he's a world champion. Like we do that every time, and you know, the amount of time that we put in, myself, Lee, Moses, the amount of time that we put in shows how much respect we've got for the opponent. So
it's just the next phase of that.
Yeah, it's just an opportunity that's come up, and we're confident that it's one that he's more than ready for.
Let me just touch on a couple of your other fighters. Well, again, probably a question more for Barry, as you always pass these questions on to Barry, but TKV and Fraser Clark for the end of September, is that happening?
I think there's just been a huge miscommunication from Boxer and Jamie TKV, from my understanding. I think that Jamie was being told a completely different date to what they've now said to him. So I don't know the situation there, to be honest. But all I know is that Jamie was expecting a fight at a date that he was told, and now the date's been brought forward quite a bit, and yeah, I don't know the ins and outs there, to be honest.
Are you saying that September 27th date is not accurate?
No, I think that date is accurate, but I think it was
told a different day before.
he was told a different day before. So, yeah, I don't know whether Jamie will be boxing on that date. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Obviously, we spoke to you after Alois' fight in Bournemouth recently. Next for him at the moment, is there any talk of him being out again soon?
Yeah, I think there's been a few mentions of a few options. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him redo that again and put in the performance that we know that he can do. Revisit that, or just whatever's the next step along the ladder for him.
I did ask you, obviously, about the gathering talk of AJ and Jake Paul. We're a few weeks on from that, and we haven't kind of seen a backward step. All the kind of talks we're hearing from the relevant people, I suppose, this is a possibility or a good possibility to happen. Can you tell us anything from your side?
Nothing's changed from the last conversation, so.
Okay. I'm only asking because it's being spoken about.
I'm telling you what, like there's no more. I don't sit there in the negotiations to come back and go, this is what's been happening. That's not my job. So.
I mean, a lot of people we speak to kind of in the industry would get why the fight would take place or is happening. Obviously, two big names, the money, etc. But people from outside of, or on the kind of fringes of boxing, can't fathom how this fight is even being spoken about. Yeah, do you see that side of it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
What do you? I mean, what's the answer to those people who can't quite? It is straightforward as.
There is no answer. I haven't got anything to. Are you asking me to sell the fight? Like,
I'm not asking to sell it. I'm saying, could you just understand from?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've said this a few times. Like, Francis Ngannou is one of the most durable men on the planet, and like, look what happened there. That it's a gross mismatch.
So you're obviously alluding to a danger factor there for Jake Paul. I mean, look, speaking to Eddie Hearn last week, he said that, an initial conversation he had with Nikita was about, the danger aspect of actually what could happen, because you make a good point out of Francis Ngannou, who's one of the kind of most fearsome combat sports stars in the world ever, and we saw what happened with AJ, but Jake Paul, we'd have to say, you wouldn't put into that bracket of what I just said of being one of the most fearsome combat sports stars. So, yeah.
People say, Ngannou's not a boxer. He went 10 rounds. He had 10 rounds with
Fury and dropped him.
Yeah, one of the best heavyweights on the planet. So he was more qualified than Jake to get in the ring, and that happened. And he's a lot bigger, a lot more durable, a lot more experience in combat sports. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Let me ask you the last question about this, right? Just hypothetically, if you was in front of Jake Paul, and he asked your advice, would you be advising him not to take this fight?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Of course. What would you?
What would I say? Yeah, but you're qualified to give that opinion. You're a trainer and you're kind of...
I don't think you need much qualifications to recognise what issue is there. Do you know what I mean?
Not about that.
I mean, I apologise if I'm... Do you know what I mean? AJ's robbing the bank here and I'm fucking putting the alarms up. But yeah, I'm just being honest.
Okay. Well, look, listen. I think, have stranger things happened or stranger fights happened in boxing? I don't know. It was McGregor and Mayweather when that happened was...
Do you know what it is? That's a different situation. Floyd's not. AJ is one of the most dangerous men on the planet to be stood in front of and to get hit by. There's no two ways about that. That's the bigger. Obviously, there's a gulf in skill, massively. But on top of that, the man opposite is one of, if not the most devastating puncher in world boxing.
What did you think about when Jake Paul and Canelo were close to having a fight before Canelo fought last May
Again, there's
against...
a bit of a s-
I know there is. I know obviously there's a big difference there. But what did you think about that?
Big difference in what?
Well, there's a big difference in size, first of all.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Canelo, who's, like I said, one of the pound-for-pound current best boxers, who could probably knock out heavyweights. But what was your thought process around Jake Paul, which that fight nearly happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't have agreed. I don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? But I think like it's not. It's clearly not as dangerous as. I mean, yeah.
We shall see what happens when it gets announced. We'll come back for your thoughts then. Have you got anything else you'd like to say?
No. You got anything else?
Not really, no. Just here in Saudi, looking forward to a great week, and just the final prediction. You expect Itauma to knock Whyte out though?
Not expecting like it's got to be this way, got to be that way, and I see that there's a lot of talk like if it turns into a dog fight, like I think people underestimate. He's a spiteful man, Moses as well, and I think if the fight goes that way, don't be shocked if he gets the better of that. The fight going that way, he's got that in the locker. So yeah.
We look forward to it. Ben Davison, much appreciate your time, and like I said, we look forward to a wonderful week in Saudi Arabia.
Pleasure.